We all agreed. You're not in the wedding party, my brother said as he handed me a paper plate outside the tent. His new Phil laughed. Real family eats under roofs. I stood, took back my envelope and said, financial ghosts don't bring gifts. They begged. I smiled, then wiped their $6,200 Venmo balance. By morning, 39 voicemails, 112 messages, and one call from. We all agreed, you're not in the wedding party, my brother said as he handed me a paper plate outside the tent. His voice was flat, final, like he was doing me a favor by not pretending. Then came the real kicker. His new father-in-law, a man I'd met exactly once before, chuckled and added, real family eats under roofs. I stared at the plate, a flimsy white thing trembling in my hand like it knew it didn't belong. Around me, laughter rose from inside the massive white wedding tent, glowing with string lights and filled with rented elegance. I could smell garlic butter from the catering trays, hear the click of champagne flutes. I wasn't allowed in there, not even for dinner. My name wasn't on the guest chart, not at the head table, not at the cousin's table, not at any table. I stood there nodding like a fool. I had paid for part of the tent. I had covered the catering deposit. I've INO'd my brother $6,200 6 months ago when he said he was short on vendors. And now I was standing barefoot in damp grass holding a paper plate like some wedding crasher. I'll take that back, I said quietly. My brother blinked. What? The envelope. I pointed to the tiny white card I had placed in the gift box earlier. It's not for you anymore. He looked confused until I reached into the box and pulled it out, ignoring the gasp from one of the bridesmaids. The envelope had my handwriting on it. I opened it slowly and took out the check, ripped it in half, then in quarters, then in A's. That's when silence fell. Real thick, uncomfortable silence. The kind that doesn't get cleaned up with a joke. Financial ghosts don't bring gifts, I said, tossing the scraps into the trash. He stared at me like I'd slapped him. Maybe I had. They begged. His fiance's mother whispered something. My mom came running from inside the tent as wide like she just realized I existed. But I just smiled, turned on my heel, and walked away. When I got home, I opened Venmo. The shared balance for wedding expenses, $6,200 still outstanding, was still linked to my account. I tapped a few buttons and cleared it to zero. Then I blocked every number tied to it. By morning, my phone had lit up like a firestorm. 39 voicemails, 112 messages, and one call from a number I hadn't seen in years, a number I thought was gone for good. That's when I knew this wasn't about one wedding. It never was. They say weddings bring people together. In our case, it pulled off the mask. 3 weeks before the wedding, my brother Adam called and said he needed a small favor. Just until the caterer clears the final invoice, he said, you know, I'll pay you back after the honeymoon. It was $3,200. I sent it within 10 minutes. 3 days later, Mom called. Her voice was soft like she'd rehearsed empathy in the mirror. I didn't want to ask this, but your father's suit, he's gained some weight and he doesn't feel confident. We found something that might work. It's our money, but we'd never expect. I stopped her, said I'd cover it. Another $1,200 gone. The week after, I got a message from Lily, Adam's fiancée. The photographer's package doesn't include drone footage. Would you be willing to help? We'd be eternally grateful. That one was $1,800. No. Hi, no. How are you? Just a Venmo request and some emojis. I approved it without a word because that's what I did. That's who I was. The buffer, the fixer, the invisible backbone of every polished family moment until I found out I wasn't even invited to the rehearsal dinner. I'd called Adam just to check in. Just something simple. Hey, just wanted to ask what time should I be at the dinner next Friday? He laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, you're not coming to that. It's mostly bridal party. Immediate family. You know how tight the list is. I am immediate family. Silence then. Don't be like that. It's not personal. We just didn't want too many logistics. The call ended. I didn't hang up. He did. And that's when it started unraveling. I went back through my Venmo history. $6,200 across 5 months. Labeled vendor deposit backup gift. Then I opened an old shared Google sheet. Lily had sent me back in March when I helped her organize budgeting. It was still public. One tab stood out. Excluded guests and there in cell B12 next to my name. Someone had typed doesn't match vibe. Possible wildcard suggests not inviting to central events. Keep outside main tent. I sat there frozen. I'd helped them build the vibe. It got worse, way worse. The next morning I got a notification. Someone had tagged me on Facebook. It was Lily. A photo of Adam, their bridal party, her parents and mine, all seated around a long oak table at their engagement brunch, surrounded by those who matter most. Our core, our forever team, no sign of me, not even a mention. One of Lily's cousins commented, wasn't there another brother? Or am I imagining that? And Lily replied, you're not imagining. Let's just say some people support quietly and some don't support at all. 19 likes. That night I opened the old laptop I'd helped Adam fix 2 years ago. Still had remote access. He'd never revoked my credentials. Dumb. Within 20 minutes, I was inside. Emails, PDFs, group chats with titles like Wedding 18, N18, photos, screenshots, and then I found it. A zipped folder titled Plan B Seating Adjustments. Inside were updated guest lists, table charts, diagrams of the tent layout, all neatly organized. Next to my name, escort to lawn area. Provide plate, no tint access, no explanation, just that. Then I found a WhatsApp group chat. Messages between Adam, Lily, and their friends. He's just not photogenic. Like, we love him, but he's got that off-brand energy. I feel bad. He paid for half the cake? Should we at least let him help cut it? No, he's the sad uncle type. It'll mess up the aesthetic. And then my favorite. Anyway, he's single and weird. What's he gonna do? Vimo into submission. That's when I knew they didn't just exclude me. They used me like a credit card with legs. I didn't cry. I didn't throw anything. I made a list. Pull back pending transfers. Download all receipts. Backup group chats. Freeze the Venmo wedding pool. Reclaim my power. Then came the voicemail. My father. His voice cracked and cold. You need to understand something. This family moves forward. If you're not part of the solution, you don't get to stand in the photos. I played it twice. Then I wrote a sentence in my notebook. Financial ghosts don't bring gifts. That's when I knew I wasn't going to that wedding to clap and smile. I was going to bury the narrative. The wedding was set for 3:00 p.m. I arrived at 10:37. The venue was already dressed for the lie. Eucalyptus garlands, rental lanterns, and a custom white tint taller than some buildings. A florist was wiring greenery to an arch that I paid for. A man in black carried the cake I funded, and near the back, a woman with a headset and clipboard barked orders into thin air. Her name was Qley, the planner. I walked straight up to her. Hi, I'm the financial contact for about 60% of this event. We need to talk. She blinked at me. I handed her a folder, invoices, receipts, bank statements, every single one stamped with the same name, mine. She flipped through it in silence. Then I added, I'm retracting authorization. This event no longer has my financial support. Any vendors operating under contracts tied to my name will be suspended immediately. She paused. You can't just I can. And I have. Within 30 minutes, the music system was unplugged. The lighting rig shut down. The 3-tiered cake was placed back in the van. The caterer's oven stopped preheating. The DJ packed up his table and left. The tent that cost $14,000 stood quiet and bare like a gutted theater. At 12:11 p.m., I walked into the side entrance. I wore a black suit and carried 3 boxes, white wrapped with silver ribbon. One for my brother, one for my parents, one for the couple's gift table. I found Adam by the fountain pacing, sweating in his tux jacket, phone in hand. What did you do? He hissed, marching toward me. Secured my assets, I said, and reclaimed what I paid for. You're insane. You can't just show up and sabotage. This isn't sabotage. This is clarity. I wasn't invited to your wedding, remember? Just your wallet was. So I showed up to get it back. He reached for one of the boxes. Don't, I said coldly. Open it at the altar. People started to notice. The caterers were gone. The lights didn't work. The sound check failed. Lily's voice echoed from the tent, shrill, cracking, panicked. Where's the cake? That's when I set the final stage. I walked to the head table and placed the boxes on the white linen one by one. Then I turned to the crowd of confused guests now gathering in the field. Since I wasn't on the guest list, I figured I'd bring something meaningful closure. People stared. My mother's face twisted into something between fear and fury. My father looked ready to swing. That's when I gestured to the man beside me. Meet Daniel Qley, licensed legal counsel, here to witness and deliver documentation. Daniel opened his briefcase and calmly read aloud. As of this morning, all joint financial accounts involving Hero's full name and the following parties, Adam's surname, Charles' surname, and Meredith's surname, have been legally severed. Power of attorney revoked. Co-signing status nullified. Authorized access to assets, property, or credit terminated. Additionally, attached is a notice of civil action related to fraudulent use of identification in a credit application filed on date. Evidence attached. That last part hit hard. My dad lunged forward. You smug little user. I cut him off. Oh, you mean this? I pulled out my phone, opened a video, and tapped play on the screen. Granny security footage from a credit union lobby, my father holding a folder, sliding a document across the counter, my name and social security number on the screen. My ID stolen from an old file in my bedroom drawer, used to co-sign a business loan I never knew existed. Gasp spread like fire. Lily dropped her bouquet. My mother whispered, "You don't know what you're doing." I looked straight at her. No, you didn't know who you were stealing from. I turned to Adam, who stood frozen, fist clenched. You didn't invite me to your wedding, I said. But you invited my money, my labor, my silence. I've just RSVP'd to all 3. The speakers, silent since morning, sparked to life for just a second. A technician testing power. I stepped away from the tent. And as I did, the final message played on my phone speaker loud enough for every guest to hear. My father's voice from a voicemail left months ago. You've made your choice. We'll do things without you. Just don't expect to show up later. I held up the phone and added one last thing. I'm just following instructions. Then I walked away. Behind me, the wedding collapsed in stages. No music, no lights, no food, no family illusion. Just truth delivered on schedule in 3 white boxes. 5 weeks after the wedding exploded like a cheap firework, I received a certified letter in the mail. It wasn't dramatic, just a white envelope with government print, the kind most people toss until it's too late. Inside were the words I'd been waiting for. We confirmed the fraudulent use of your identity in a financial application submitted by Charles Surname on date. The case has been escalated to formal prosecution. You were cleared of all co-liability. Just like that, my name was clean and my father's wasn't. The man who used to joke that I'd never survive without his guidance was now officially blacklisted by 2 banks, investigated by the IRS, and named in a federal credit fraud case. His accounts were frozen, his license as a financial consultant suspended. The best part, the judge approved my withdrawal as co-signer on the original loan. The debt was his alone now. The weight he tried to strap to my back had snapped and crushed his own. But like always, when one liar falls, another grabs a mask. A week after the judgment, I got a message from a blocked number. The voice was my father's, but shaky now, uncertain. It wasn't just me. Your mother, she helped. She brought the documents. She knew. I didn't respond, not because I didn't believe him, but because I already knew. That same day, I received a package. No return address, just a flash drive and a letter handwritten in pen I recognized from childhood birthday cards. It was from my uncle, my father's estranged brother. We haven't spoken in years, but I saw what you did, and I want you to know it wasn't just this wedding. They planned this long before. I've attached something you might want to hear. On the flash drive was a recording dated 2019. My father's voice, low and amused. He's good for money. We keep him around. We survive. Just don't let him feel too important. If he ever gets smart, we're screwed. Silence. Then my mother's voice. He won't. He always comes back. He's wired that way. I sat still for over an hour after hearing that. Not sad, not even angry, just done. Meanwhile, the rest of them were scrambling. Adam's wedding was never rescheduled. Lily left him 2 weeks after the fallout. She posted one final Instagram story. A photo of her ring left on a windowsill captioned, "Turns out the diamond was fake, like the family." Adam tried to save face, posting gym selfies and half-baked motivational quotes, but it didn't work. The venue sued him for breach of contract. 2 vendors pressed charges for non-payment. Last I heard, he was living in a studio apartment above a vape shop, blocking comments. My mother sent a letter, not handwritten, just typed cold. "We didn't know what your father had done. We didn't mean to hurt you. Please remember we're still family." I read it once and filed it under delusions. I published a video the same day I got cleared. No rage, no theatrical editing, just me in my apartment holding up every receipt, every message, every legal confirmation. I even included the wedding footage, the boxes, the breakdown, the silence. Then I looked straight into the camera and said, "They used my name. They spent my money. They erased my face." So I took all of it back. The video hit 3.44 million views in 2 weeks. Comments flooded in. "My family did this to me too. This is exactly why I went no contact. Not all scars bleed. Some are dollar signs." I started getting messages from journalists, podcasts, financial advocacy groups. One offered to sponsor a platform if I ever wanted to help others like me. So I built one. I called it No More Tense, a platform for people used by their families as walking wallets and silent servants. Within a month, I had a Discord with 15,000 members, a forum, and 6 volunteer lawyers offering free consults to victims of family financial abuse. My first post was simple. You are not ungrateful for saying no. You are not selfish for wanting peace. You are not a villain for walking away. One night, I was locking up the co-working space I rented for the platform when a familiar number called. I let it ring, then another, then a text from my aunt. "Your father's heart is weak. He collapsed yesterday. Your mom says he's asking for you." I stared at the screen. Then I turned it off. At home, I poured a drink and opened the final file on that flash drive from my uncle. A photo, one I'd never seen. It was me at 12 holding a certificate I forgot I'd ever earned. Standing next to my dad, his smile was wide, proud, fake, his hand on my shoulder. I remember thinking it meant something back then. The caption handwritten on the back said, "Even then, he didn't know we were just using him." I placed it in the fireplace, watched the edges curl black. Then I opened my laptop, clicked publish on a new post, and typed. My family taught me 2 things. 1, blood is leverage. 2, silence is loyalty. I don't owe them either anymore. 6 months. That's how long it had been since I shut the door on all of it. The wedding, the trial, the messages, the guilt masquerading as concern. 6 months since I pressed mute on a lifetime of noise. I moved out of state, quiet town, big sky. No one knew my name. I closed my personal accounts. No more Instagram, no LinkedIn, no Facebook for mom to accidentally tag me in when she needed attention. I kept my work, my platform, my business. But me, I vanished. And it was delicious. People don't realize how loud fake love is until you cut the volume. The first month, I got daily emails from my aunt. The second, my brother tried calling from different numbers. The third, my mother left a voicemail that started as a sob and ended as a threat. You can't just disappear. Your family, for heaven's sake. That word again, family. Like it was a contract signed in blood. Like abuse wrapped in a last name was something I had to swallow for the sake of appearances. So I stayed quiet. I didn't answer, not because I was angry, but because I wasn't. I went days without thinking about them, whole weekends where I forgot my brother's name. Then one Tuesday, I walked past a bakery and saw a white three-tiered cake in the window. Perfect, symmetrical, untouched. I stared at it for a moment, then smiled. That was all they ever wanted me to be. Present, useful, decorative, not loved, just symmetrical. Last week, I sat alone in a quiet cafe, my favorite one, the kind where no one asks your story, sipping black coffee and reading Baldwin. My phone buzzed. I flipped it over. 54 missed calls, 17 messages, 4 voicemails, all from old numbers, some masked, some not. I didn't open a single one. I turned the phone screen down on the table, took another sip. I used to shake when they contacted me, think I owed them something, an explanation, a reaction. But that's the thing they never taught me. Silence is an answer, a louder one than screaming. They still don't know where I live. Still don't know I changed my number. Still don't know that the person they used to summon with guilt and praise and pressure no longer exists. And I didn't burn bridges. I demolished the shoreline. Before I left the cafe, I scrawled something in the back of my book, a note to myself. They used to own my reactions. Now they don't even get my silence. I tore the page out, left it under the coffee cup, walked out, and didn't look back.